Can we build an Armorer Artificer from D&D in Elden Ring? Absolutely. But is it any good? Check this out. Hello everyone, I am Slightly.Lost, back with another video where I attempt to recreate subclasses from Dungeons & Dragons in Elden Ring, as close to respectable recreation as we can. Without further ado, let's get into the build. So, if you've never played D&D before, Artificers are one of the newest official classes on the scene. They are the happy medium between a spellcaster like a wizard and a tank like a paladin. The Armorer in particular, though, actually ends up being more monk-like in the way it uses its thunderous gauntlets to punch the life out of enemies, and that's exactly what we aim to do here. To start off, we'll be selecting the warrior starting class, dexterity focused right off the bat with a decent amount of vigor and endurance. At level 50, you'll want 30 vigor, 25 endurance, 12 strength for the weapon we intend to use, and 23 dexterity. The nice thing about how simple this build will be in terms of leveling, we're already on the straight and narrow for our ideal stats. At level 100, you'll have 45 vigor, 35 endurance, and 48 dexterity. At level 150, your stats should be 60 vigor, 50 endurance, and 68 dexterity. Finally, at level 200, your stat spread should be 60 vigor, 14 mind, 50 endurance, 80 dexterity, and 45 arcane. Only reason we added all that arcane is simply because we hit the soft caps for vigor, endurance, and dexterity, and still have 36 levels remaining. You won't see any significant improvements, but if you'd rather toss those into vigor and strength, you certainly can. In terms of equipment, it's going to be real simple. We'll be using the Star Fists with the Lightning Affinity and the Blink Bolt Ash of War from the DLC. If you don't have the DLC, I'd recommend the Thunderbolt Ash of War instead. Because the Star Fists are a paired weapon, we have no shield, and since we're not casting any spells, we have no catalyst. Lightning fast build for the Lightning Fist subclass. For our talismans, we're using all the multi-hit talismans to really crank out our damage. In slot 1, we have either the Winged Sword Insignia or the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia. Either of these will increase our damage with successive attacks. The Rotten variant is better, but in New Game you're locked to picking that or our next talisman, unless a friend is willing to drop it for you. Secondly, we have Millicent's Prosthesis, which also increases our damage with successive attacks and gives us a +5 to dexterity. In our third slot is the Godskin Swaddling Cloth. That restores HP after a certain amount of successive attacks. This will allow us to keep the pressure on even when we're being hit. In the final slot, we have two options we'll swap between based on circumstances. While mobbing through small enemies, we'll use the Crusade Insignia. While fighting a boss, however, we'll use the Blade of Mercy that increases our damage after getting a critical hit. Both of these are from the DLC, which if you don't have, I'd replace with the Green Turtle Talisman because we really need to keep our stamina up as best we can, but really struggle to. Our armor of choice will always be pick your favorite, as long as you're reaching that 51 poise threshold. The armor I've chosen is the Radahn's Soldier Helm, the Eccentric's Armor, the Fire Prelate's Gauntlets, and the Scaled Greaves. This puts us at 58 poise. In our Wondrous Physick, we have the Thorny Cracked tier that increases our damage with successive attacks, and the Green Burst Crystal tier to increase our stamina recovery speed, because we're gonna burn through it. For Great Runes, I'd recommend using Melania's Great Rune because it gives our attacks the ability to restore HP after we've taken damage, akin to the rally mechanic from Bloodborne. This allows us to really keep the pressure on and tank through even more attacks while we smack our enemies silly. With all the number crunching out of the way, let's see how it plays.
home, bathed in rays of cold.
And that is how you make an Armorer Artificer from D&D in Elden Ring. Did you like what you saw? What would you change to make this build even more accurate to the source material? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, and if I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful day.